This is my Audi A5 and today I'm going to be fitting this, a Decat pipe. Stay tuned. In this episode I'm going to show you how to fit a Decat pipe for an Audi A5 2-litre petrol. The first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove that black engine cover. Next, what you want to do is remove the 4 clips holding the black trim in place, as you can see here. Once you've removed that, you can go ahead and lift up the car, whether that's beyond axle stands or a ramp or a lift, but you will need access underneath to get to the next part. Next, you want to undo all the bolts underneath to get that under tray off. Once you've done that, then you need to disconnect the O2 sensors. There's one at the front and one at the back. Here you can see them being unclipped, this one for the front, and the next one just pulls up off of the back, and again just unclips. Next you need the air scoop. They need to be undone. This one's an aftermarket version, so yours might be different if it's an original one, but there you can see the front scoop being taken off. Next you disconnect the clamp holding the mass airflow meter pipe, and then remove the airbox itself and then the connector pipe. Don't forget to put something in the turbo inlet so you don't drop anything in there. Next comes the 4 bolts holding the cap to the turbo itself. Then you're back underneath and you need to be removing those heat shields, as you can see here. Next up comes the clamp holding the cat to the body of the car. The easiest way to do this is to do it as shown here, because this is just 1 bolt. Next up, you want to remove the bolts holding this bracket up underneath the subframe. Once they're off, remove the heat shield, this large part that you can see being taken out there. Then the next thing you want to do is remove the 3 bolts holding the bottom end of the cat to the bottom part of the exhaust where the flexi pipe is there. Once that's done, then you need to remove the center pipe, taking off the bracket. This will make it a lot easier to get to the remaining bolts. Sometimes they can be stuck or rounded off, just dependent on how often they've been put back on. Once they're all off, the flexi pipe then comes away from the bottom of the cap. Next you want to go ahead and remove the O2 sensors itself from the cap. This will make pulling it out a lot easier. It's a tight fit trying to pull the cat through that small gap, and with a bit of pressure and a bit of persuadance from a long bar, a bit of a pry bar I think we used here, then it came out eventually without causing any damage to the rest of the engine or the cat itself if you're going to sell it or keep it. Next you want to remove the connections holding the brackets to the old Decat. Just a couple of bolts either side, and then just reattach them to your new Decat pipe. Go ahead and attach the gasket that comes with the kit. It's a lot thicker than the original one that it comes with, so it should hold a lot better. And then you want to be putting your Decat pipe through the top. Now, it was a struggle here, and we found that the holes weren't exactly big enough for the studs that's on the turbo, so we needed to do some work on that to make them bigger. So here Sam's boring out the holes to make them slightly bigger. Just one was needed in actual fact, and then once that was there, it was a case of put it back on, use a tool to clamp it together, and then when you just bolt it up. O2 sensors back in, one at the front. And then one at the back. Next, reattach the bolt holding the bracket from the Decat pipe to the body of the car. This did need some persuasion with a pry bar just to get it sat in right, as it wasn't perfectly aligned. Then you want your midsection pipe back in. Tighten up the nuts on the bolts attaching the bottom end of the cat to the midsection of the exhaust. Tighten up the bolts again for that bracket underneath where the subframe is. Reattach your heat shields again. And there you have it. Reattach all your airbox, mass airflow meter, and that front shield and the engine cover as well, and you're good to go.